Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. Oh, I got something nice for you today. Let's go. I'm excited. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I'm giving life lessons. You tune in to receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right Thinkers mission. Yeah, and that's what I'm on. Is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and that's what I'm on, is that all right thinkers know thyself. You're a right thinker. Your goal is to know thyself. So I ask the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not, and knows not that they know not is foolish, disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not, no big deal. They simple. You can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here too. Wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and always to my yacht be true. I'm gonna go into lesson number 5. As did my man Dave Shabbat. 5. Okay. Fever, doctor. You be throwing them dice. But we moving on through the book. I'm taking you through lesson by lesson. I hope you're starting to grasp the concept. I'm gonna break some more down for you. This is gonna be fun. This is stuff I like to do. This title, right thinkers, is a long one, but I'm gonna break it down. The number order of the divinities and the mysteries of number for understanding, there you go, the levels of creation, and there's level to this shit, and the path for what? The journey of the tree of life, aka life, living it. Title, The Principle of Creator and the Non-Divinities. So it'd be 10, counting the creator. He got into his creation. All right, so let's go. Now, based on, again, the Anuian theology, as it presented in the theurgy of the ancient Egyptian pyramid texts and other Kemetic scriptures. We had our own stuff. In order, in the order, in the order, nomenclature, and attributes of the ancient Egyptian divinities of the creation may be viewed as follows. You ready? Now we're gonna break it down. I hope you can understand. This to me is the fun part. Now, it follows. As with other African religions, ancient Egyptian religion follows, you ready? A format of recognizing a supreme and transcendental divinity out of which lesser divinities emanate or emerge. We keep telling you, from the one came the many. Okay? Moving on, I ain't gonna play that game no more. I'm tired of that one. But now in the Anuian theurgy, remember, creation, we are presented with divinities that compass the gross and the subtle elements of creation, as well as the psychological principles that make up the psychic of human beings. We landed all out there for you so you can understand it. The ancient, the account of creation, of the gods and goddesses, again, of creation according to the creation theurgy of Anu, which means the first place, the first time. Here the Anunnaki, they got that in there. I knew me the first time. They were the first ones supposedly. We ain't dealing with that. But the creation theology of Anu and the account by a writer called Plutarch. Yeah, he was a Greek. Moving on. But because he said it, it's authentic. Let's talk about it. We're gonna start from 1, I think, to 7, I think it is. Yeah, you got nice little information here. Let's go. In the beginning, in every story about creation, we'll say the same thing. In the beginning. Moving on, I ain't playing that game right now. Alright, so there was the primeval ocean. We know about that. We called it the noon. Okay. I'm gonna try to break it down as we go because some of the words familiar. I'm trying to put it in context where you can understand it and follow along. We started from the beginning, always at the noon, considered the primeval ocean. This is why boats symbolize the creation. Why? Water everywhere. Symbolically. Now, out of noon rose what? Ra. In the Anuian theology, Ra is God. In Memphite, you got Ptah. In the other spot, in Memphis and Waset, Thebes, you had Atum or Amun, excuse me. So everybody had their own God concept. We dealing with the Anuians, so understand that. And it's all about Ra and his divinities. Watch this. Now, upon his emergence, this magnificent God did what? Created all that came into being where? You ready? From his own self. And he existed within his creation, Heru, as one exists with one's own body. We have a body. The spirit in us is God. Same concept. We're in his image. And we be hearing about a whole bunch of stuff. And let me say this to you. All of it have a symbolic and esoteric meaning, but all y'all get is the exoteric meaning because they don't think the masses can handle the truth. That's another truth. They just don't think y'all can handle it across the board. So they made that decision for you. A lot of stuff already made before you get there. They just coach you along the way to make you think it's your idea. Moving on. Act 1, phrase 2. After he created creation, how did it start? He sneezed, snoot, shoot, and he spit out tough newt. Now, these is action that you can relate to that I'm talking about, and you can make it into story based so it can flow along. You can get understanding. So he sneezed, shoot, spat out tough newt, and they in turn what? Now he stepped back. He done put shoe tough newt. These are functions. Tough shoe is air. Tough newt is the moist air. Opposites equal. Why? They need both. Dry air to breathe, moist air to bring down the rain, the water, the earth, which is going to come up as Geb, which is the earth, and Nu, which represents heaven. Starry deck, cloudy at night, she represents that. She's a lady leaning over with stars all over her body, okay? She represents the galaxy, okay? We're putting everything in place. These are just elements. We giving them physical characteristics so we can identify with them. Follow along? Okay, now, after we got the goddess Nu and Geb were united in an amorous embrace. What's that? Love embrace. It was like this. It was bumping uglies, okay? It was getting busy. And I gave this story a long time ago, but the idea now to give the creation stories, I'm not going to tell you about that God nonsense. But yeah, they was in love embrace. That's what they call it. Moving on. And since they had loved each other so deeply from the beginning of time, this is earth and heaven. At one time, they were united as one. We had the old phrase, we said, ain't nothing between us but air. Ra said, okay, separate them. That's why you see a picture of Shu, which represents air. He pushing Newt up, keeping Gab down. Another story with that goes along with it. And all these have good stories to explain it. And hopefully as a child, everybody has a good story. If the story makes sense and you get the plot, you just enlightened them. You just gave them something that they can impart in their mind and understand. That's what teaching is all about. Sorry about that. Get back to the lesson. But yeah, now Newt and Gab separated. They was in love embrace beginning of time, but now they had to separate. And their embrace was so close, again, no other being could exist on the world. This is Gab right here, and this is Newt right here. Ain't nothing going on. Now, ain't nothing between them but air. And it'll be that way for eternity. Another lesson. But now, phase 2, chapter 2. From their union, Newt became pregnant. So in order for her to get pregnant, you know what they was doing. Moving on. It wasn't artificial insemination or that nonsense. True fact, yeah, they was getting busy. But Newt got pregnant, and Ra, because he was upset, had decreed that what? She should be separated from Newt and not give birth in any month of the year, or any day of the year. At that time, the year consisted of 360 days, emblematic of symbolically of what? The circle of time, no beginning and no end. That was the sign for God, and you're the dot in the middle. God is all encompassing, and when you put the dot, He's inside you, so you always with Him. He's always with you conceptually, but that was the idea. So long story short, Newt gave birth, but she couldn't give birth. What happened? At that time, he also decided, God, Ra, he's already in the sky, he decided to retreat, okay, as an active participant in his creation to abide where? You ready? In heaven. And once he got there, wherein all who would seek him must go. We all want to get back to Ra, symbolically, okay? And this is the reason why. Even religions tell you about heaven and hell. If heaven is up there, we must be in hell right now. We can't go no lower. And this is the bottom of the barrel. Yeah, we start from the bottom. So, okay, you can either stay here, keep repeating life here, not learning your lesson, or get enlightened, do better, be better, and punch your ticket to the afterlife. That was the concept for the Egyptians 10,000 years ago. Moving on. Now, where we at down here? They treated, okay, God went left earth and went up in heaven. And for anybody who seek him, you had to make past the Mayate, the fields of Maya at Judgment Day. But from this position, what happened? He supports creation as he's transversed in the form of the sun, making it possible for life to exist and flourish. Without that thing in the sky, it's a wrap. That's the concept. We already knew that. So moving on. And from that position, he did that. Now, in the morning, I told you there are 3 phases of Ra. He's known as Khepri, the scarab, hair beetle. When the scarabs come out of the dung, when they got full grown, they come out like they just come out of nowhere. They just self-created, just come out of nowhere. That's the concept for the sunrise. It just comes out of nowhere. And everything they did was symbolically and esoterical on time. And they didn't need a bunch of words. That's what they used the hieroglyphs for, to show you a picture's worth 1,000 words. You can say a whole lot with just a picture, wasting a whole bunch of words. Moving on. They were simple people, but very intelligent. In the morning, he was Khepri. At noon, at his highest point, he's Ra. Okay, symbolic of everybody bow down and pay homage. Every knee would bow, every head would bend. Y'all talking about the sun. Christians, y'all took Ra, the sun concept, and made him human and put him in calling Jesus Christ. Ain't no physical body gonna die for 3 days and come back. The sun metaphorically, and that's real. It don't metaphor, it actually goes north, far as it gonna go, south, excuse me, and it stops and it's dormant for 3 days. And it rises back up. That's the concept. Y'all took Jesus. That's all it is. It's a concept. I ain't going there. He never existed. Y'all ain't got to prove that. Why? Because it's a faith-based system. So we ain't got to prove nothing. We can tell you anything. And that's pretty much what they do. Sorry. All right, what I get? We now hit the 3 phases of Ra. In the morning, he's Khepri. At high noon, he's the most high God, and everybody pays respect. Masons, sign of astonishment, hell no. Sign of dua, respect and Ra. It's amazing when people tell you one thing. Now, not that they knew they was lying or they was whatever, but when you find out to the contrary, you feel a certain kind of way. I'm just saying, a lot of stuff I'm finding out and I feel a certain kind of way. So I'm just letting you know it happens that way. Moving on. Hopefully, ain't nothing I told you, you're going to find out later on that it wasn't what I said. I don't want to be that dude. Okay? I got mine right. So understand that. Moving on. Now, in that night, he's called Tim. Sunset. He's going down, the end, finito, for the day. But when he gets into the afterlife, the underworld, it's a whole new ball game for him. The lesson. I know that's my favorite story. All right, but yeah, Ra has things that he do once he get from doing his thing for us. He got to do something in the underworld. But now, part 2, section 4. Also, from here, what happened? We witnessed all of the activities and the events of his creation. The eye in the sky, okay, the all seeing, it sees all. That's the concept, and that's where it comes from. That's why I rock it. Okay, where we at now? He can see. Okay, creation. Now, in his absence, what he do? He created Tahuti, which represents what? His mind. So he's always conscious of what? His creation. He put Tahuti there, which is his minister and messenger through whom he, Ra, would manage and sustain his creation. Ra instituted himself and as the sustainer of creation by being the sun, setting himself up during the day, and illumines creation as the sun. Now they got a dot the circle, which represents Ra. Now, while setting, he put Tahuti up in the form of the baboon to what? Watch over his creation at night, aka the moon god. But that's Kansu from Amun and Mut's son. He's considered the moon god, and that's who Tahuti, he gambled with him and won 70th of the year, which come out to 5 days. Those are the festival days of the birth of the gods coming from Newt. Little heads up, but that's where we headed with that. And everything was precise and understood. Wasn't no whole bunch of superstitious mumbo jumbo. All right, everything was pretty much accounted for. A system. You can't have a system that's haphazard. No, it should play out to a start with an end and take you from one place to another. Okay, that's what the Masons learned. That's what they do for a more noble and glorious purpose. And I agree 100% with that. Moving on. Now, after he done that, having become pregnant, remember Newt, as a result with Gab, and when they parted, Gab thing was stood up. That's the monument y'all call obelisk. We get that lesson too. So, okay, this is the other part. This is Newt. Newt gave birth, right? When she had the 5 extra days that they didn't tell you here, but when Tahuti won the 5 days from Kansu, he came back to Adam 5 days. Now, Newt can give birth and won't break Ra's commandment. You know, he didn't like that. Another lesson, okay? So he's found a little loophole, all right? Sound like lawyers, don't they? Okay, now what he did, Gab gave birth to Asar, Aset, excuse me, this says here. Now, this is another part. Listen to the way he was born now. You got Asar was first, right? Now, according to what our stories I know, Haru which is Asar's brother, was born second. And then Set bogarted his way through and came out not the vagina or the birth canal. He came out the side. He couldn't win. Again, that ego is feisty. That's what he's trying to show you. From birth, that's how he came out. Okay, so he ain't ever changed from the time he come into existence. All right, but that's the story. Now, and then you had the twins, Set and Nephthah. And they had to be together. Why? Twins got to be born at the same time. Okay, so the 5 children, that was the last one to be born. And Haru is you after you master yourself. He came full grown, but they put him in the child so you can know as an aspirant, this is what you need to do. Another story, but right now, that's the birth and how it came. Tahuti, who being wise and had caring for Newt, was able to win, again, I had the story, 77 part of each day of the year to have added up, what, 5 added days to the year. Hence, 365. Okay? They can tell about the Gregorian calendar and all that other stuff. No, this is our own story. We sticking with it. Now, these epimagonal days, or the 5 days over the year, he added to the 360 days of which the year formerly consisted. Now, these 5 days are also called epimagonal. That is the what? Super added days, okay? Observed as the birthdays of the gods. All the gods had birthdays because of the 5 days of the birth. All of them birthdays successionally. Okay, on the first of these days, there we go, here we go, Asar was born. He represents the big brother, but he also represents, he's the soul, he's spirit, that's in man. Second one came his brother Haru. That's us in the flesh, full grown, after we conquered what our lives here in the flesh. We come here for a reason. Like my man said, not for a season. All right, but Asar was born, and then he came into the world, and the voice after he was born. Now this is where y'all stole this voice. Watch this. After Asar was born, it came a voice from heaven saying, "The Lord," or Nobajah. Wait a minute. Asar was born, and he came into the world. A voice was heard saying, "You ready? The Lord of all, the Bircher is born. That's my son, and him I'm well pleased." Sound familiar? So yeah, moving on. And watch this. Now upon the second days, when they was born, Haru came out, the elder. Upon the third day, here we go, Set showed out. Why? He was born who came into the world neither at the proper time nor the proper way. He come into the world wilding. But he forced a passage through what? The womb, which he made in his mother's side. Indians got the same story, okay? So the similar story. But the idea to show you that Set, the ego, was a unique kind of thing from the day he come into existence. That's the concept. And he can't reproduce for that reason. You don't want another one of him. Now, upon the fourth day, Aset was born in the marsh of Egypt. And upon the fifth day, here come that was born. Now, all of them represents elements of your personality, characters of your personality. Asar, spirit. Haru, you kingship at the end of you, successful venture right here, avenging your father's death, so to speak, and become what? King of yourself, ruler of yourself. Okay, self-made man, so to speak. And when Set is the ego, you know what he's about. Aset, he represents ego. Aset represents wisdom, intuitive knowledge, and she's the ride or die wife. Okay, Netet represents, she also represents immortality. Netet represents mortality. If you're born, she represents nature. Anything that's born will die. That's the physical body. When you took all them together, that's part of every human being's personality. Mastering each one at every level is called climbing the tree of life. That's what it's all about. Let me get this. I see the clock in my. Let me wrap this up. I'm almost done. Where we at? Go with me. We almost there. Da-da-da-da. Now, as regards to the fathers of these children, this way get a little tricky. The first two are said to have been begotten by. Look at that word, begotten. I did that the other day with the sixth generation begotten. This one says the firstborn was begotten by Ra. Isis was born by Tahuti, and Set and Netet by Ger. You see the three different concepts there? Sound familiar? The three sons of Noah, they were three different ethnic groups. Just saying, but they got that, again, that idea comes from here. Remember, this is all mythological characters, not for real. Understand that. So we can pretty much do what we want with them. All right. But that's a story. And every one of them have a purpose and a reason. That's what I'm trying to lay it out for you. So therefore, since the third of the super added days was the birthday of who? Set. That's the bad luck day. The kings, therefore, watch this, considered it to be unlucky. And in consequence, they neither transacted any business in it nor even suffered themselves to take any fresh refreshments until what evening. They fast. They didn't do nothing and they fast on that day. Okay. Last one. Wrapping it up. Yep. See it. They further added that Set married Nephthah and that Isis and Asar, having mutual affections, enjoyed each other and their mother's womb. Well, who was? Oh, Newt, their mother. And before they was born. And there from the union sprang Haru, which is what? The elder, whom the Greeks call Apollo. Sound familiar? And the last but not least, Asar and Aset gave birth to Haru, and Asar and Nephthah gave birth to Ampu. Okay. Haru, the spirit, aspiration, that's in me and you. We're the offspring of spirit and wisdom. Ampu, our discerning, part of our character. He's the offspring of Asar. And that gives us discernment and ambition to be our best. Those are qualities that you need to master within yourself. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Oh, I got more. I'm just watching the clock. I'm out. I'll be back. And in closing, right thinkers? May you all live to be 100 and me 100 minus a day. So I never know that my right thinkers have passed away. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'll be back.